2011, this number had dropped to fewer than 10. So whereas when we started the clean air commute, air quality was moving in the wrong direction, it's now moving in the right direction. It doesn't mean the problem is solved. Yeah, that's worth cheering, absolutely. And, you know, as many policies that the governments, federal and the provincial level and at the municipal level implemented were instrumental in bringing about that change in direction. We have, since the launch of the Clean Air Commute, many things have happened to really move air quality in the right direction, one of which is Drive Clean, the province's mandatory vehicle inspection program. Sulfur and fuel regulations were implemented, as were emission standards on light and heavy-duty vehicles. And there's also a dedication of federal fuel tax revenues to public transit. And there's many more things that we can mention, but this shows that the powers that be really pulled together to try to address this increasing problem. And we like to think that as a workplace engagement and awareness-building campaign, the Clean Air Commute had a lot to do with getting the public engaged, getting them informed, and getting them into a position where they could support these types of policies. Because they were expensive, they do impose a cost, but there is the public benefit of clean air. And, you know, I think of the last couple of years where we had record-breaking heat waves, we had high humidity, and the smog didn't appear as it once was predicted to, and that was moving us in the right direction for sure. That said, the problem is not yet solved, and I think the relevance of the Clean Air Commute continues. There's tens of thousands of people in Ontario every year who still suffer with the health impacts from exposure to smog. There's also the economic impacts of traffic congestion, which is a looming issue which we will have to deal with. The fact is that people care about clean air and the health of their communities, and as an example of that, this year it appears that the campaign is poised to engage a record number of workplaces. Last year we had close to 200. This year, if my numbers are right, we're moving past 300 engaged workplaces. And I expect that the number of individuals participating in the Clean Air Commute are going to be similarly high. None of this could be possible without our sponsors. And I'd like to take a moment to recognize them in order. There are our presenting sponsors, Union Gas and Enbridge, both of which are natural gas companies, both of which are very innovative companies looking for clean ways to deploy the benefits of their fuel into the transportation sector as well, and we recognize that. Our lead sponsors include Parsons. Parsons is the organization that actually manages all the Drive Clean inspection equipment, so they have a large stake in what we're doing here. Shell Canada, and I'll talk about my involvement with Shell Canada's Smarter Driver Challenge a little bit later, but we're proud to have them as a sponsor, and Smart Canada, who in addition to sponsoring the Clean Air Commute also have contributed our grand prizes, these wonderful hybrid electric bikes. There's two of them, so anyone who's participating in the Clean Air Commute has a chance to win one of these. I think that's the way the competition works, right? We've had an interesting and evolving relationship with Smart Canada as we were part of an electric vehicle pilot program that Toronto Hydro and Smart Canada collaborated on. We had the opportunity to work as a project management capacity and public outreach engagement. So this all goes back to, by the way, am I coming through okay?
You are.
Volume wise? Okay. And that's Smart Canada. Our supporters include Smart Commute, our sole supporter is Smart Commute by Metrolinx. And, you know, our partnership with Metrolinx has been instrumental in growing the Clean Air Commute. A big part of our growth owes to the engagement of Smart Commute workplaces who do this type of competition or do this type of clean air commuting all year round. Our sponsors include Canadian Automobile Association, South Central Ontario, with whom we've done a lot of work in the past. We've produced a primer on automobile fuel efficiency and emissions, of which we have a few copies here today. Capital One, CIBC Bellin, who served in an advisory capacity on this year's Clean Air Commute, and Sunlight Financial, who are our presenting sponsors last year. Our in-kind sponsors include the Toronto Transit Commission, Go Transit, the LCBO. They all host advertising. A lot of the artwork that you see here will be up in the public transit systems over the next week and throughout the remainder of the summer. And Delphina Yacht Charters and Greenwood and Associates. The Yacht Charters, that's another one of our grand prizes. You get to take a 12-hour tour on a 40-foot yacht out in Lake Ontario, powered entirely by wind, which is also nice. And with that, I'm just very pleased to be here and have an opportunity to lead the launch of the Clean Air Commute. Before we officially launch it, I'd like to invite Manny Souza from Enbridge to come up as one of our presenting sponsors here with us today and say a few words.